for Joey to celebrate his life and to talk about, tell each other that we love each other, hug a stranger, hug a friend. We're here to say, let's talk about things with each other. Let's be open about it. Let's talk about suicide awareness. Let's talk about each other and what it really means to listen and to not have blame. I really don't have much to say except that I love so many of you guys. I look out there and I just see so many, and I just love this family, and I just think you're awesome, and we just want you guys to talk and to be there for one another. I would like them to say something.
I am for those of you who don't know me, I'm Joey's dad, and while I semi-have this together, I'm humbled. I'm humbled at the love and support of the community and friends and family. This is amazing. This is terribly hard to be at the place where my son took his last breaths. We haven't been up here since. It was dark, and this is very, very heart-wrenching. This is very, very real, and I want to, before I get too long-winded, I'm not very long-winded, but want to let each and every one of you know that Joey loved big, and he loved all of us. We're all here because of his love. This is so humbling. There's going to be a lot of people to think in the coming days, and some that I might never reach. We're thankful for the prayers. I'm especially thankful for Joey's friends, his close friends. I'm thankful for Patrick. I don't know where he's at. That's Dallas's dad. That's what I know him by. He was here the night before me, before we found Joey. All of you have probably read the circumstances. We're not gonna hide behind what happened. We're gonna talk about what's real, and we're gonna heal. But hopefully we could, through our experience, we can reach other people who are thinking about suicide themselves, because never in a million years would I thought that our son Joey would have shot himself. And I'm going to pass the mic along to my wife, and I love you guys. I thank you. This is absolutely humbling and absolutely beautiful.
I'm not very short-winded, but I will try. I'm Joey's mom, Jenna. Thank you for being here. Thank you for lighting a candle on a place that has caused unspeakable pain, so I can have a new memory of this place. If any of you, and all of you who do know me, who've been in my house or in my car, we're honest, we're real, we laugh when things are funny, I yell when I'm mad, we cry when things hurt, and we're gonna do that. And the only way we're getting through that is together. And nobody here gets to play the what if game. I'm Joey's mom. I made him. I've loved him every day of his life. And I didn't know he needed help. So none of you who are in his life, who've talked to him, in your mind you're thinking of when you saw him, what you text, what he said, if you could have done something different. We couldn't. Joey made a choice. A brutal, wicked choice that all of us have to live with now. We are going to have to be in the face of this grief for a little bit. But what I want all of you to do is don't keep these on the inside. You have to get them on the outside. Joey was tall and cute and fun and handsome and nice. I mean, our cat caught a bird one time and he ripped the bird out of the cat's mouth and put it in a box in his bedroom to keep it alive. He didn't want anything to hurt. And maybe that's why he kept his pain hidden from me, from us, and from you. He wouldn't want anyone else to hurt. And I might never be able to answer the question of what and why. And I'm going to put that on a shelf. Because right now I have to grieve for the loss of my son. And I'm going to do that with your love and support. And you guys are going to grieve for Joey with each other's love and support. And after some of this dust settles, we're going to have adventures. When the kids were in my car, especially if I felt like a lecture mode, I locked the windows and told them it was life lessons and lectured the crap out of them because they were trapped. So here's your life lesson. Love each other. Laugh when it's funny. Cry when it's sad. Yell when you're mad. If you need help, get help. If you're sad, if you miss Joey, come to my house. We will watch Cat in the Hat in the basement. I don't even know how that DVD still works. It's been watched so many times. Come to us, let us love you. That's the only way we can get through this. If we need a break from that, we'll put a sign on the door that said we're taking a break. You can come back, but be there for each other. But talk about the things that hurt you. Joey didn't give me that choice. He didn't give any of us that choice. So love each other. Help each other, and thank you for everybody. Trey said it so beautifully. He's short on words, and it's so nice. There's some of you will be able to thank. There's some of you we can't. Other people know this pain, and they've made it. We're going to make it, and we're going to laugh. And for those of you who weren't super close to Joey, he had a backpack, and it was called the Adventure Bag. And some of you parents can get mad later, but it had a lighter in it, and fireworks, and knives. Tooele County Sheriff's here. I'm sure he only used them in appropriate circumstances all the time. He had 3 hammocks in there, an extra rope. And he went and hammocked, and he swung in trees and listened to music. And he loved fires. We built him a fire pit in the backyard. He loved knives. He had a throwing board and knives. He got 2 butterfly knives for his birthday. We you know, be who you are, love who you are. Do it safely. This is not, you know, we're doing it safely. But have adventures, you guys. Every time Joey left the house with that on and his skateboard, I would say, I love you. Go make memories. Make good choices. Do those things. Carly, do you want to say anything? Carly was a big sister.
It's really hard to find words and showing up here and seeing all these people. It makes the words even harder, but just know that all of our hearts are touched. They truly are. And my mom and dad pretty much said how we're feeling, and my mom's really good with truth, and that's how we feel. We just want to make sure that anyone that's out there that is feeling any sort of way or has any questions about this happening or anything, we are so shocked, and we want to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else, and that anyone that's sad, look at, you know, truly look around and see how many people are here for one boy who was 15 years old. It's amazing. So thank you for being here, and I think my mom said it great. Let's love, let's cry, let's do anything that we need to honor Joey and to get through it together.
We want you guys, if you want to come talk about Joey, talk about the funny things you know, tell stories about him. I'll tell his kindergarten story since you're all friends of him from school. My husband's a nickname king, so he nicknames everybody. Joey, I'm surprised he knew his name. He's Puppy, Bubba, Chill Dog. We mostly call him Joey, but he came home from kindergarten. I picked him up and I asked him, Puppy, how was your day? How did it go? And he's like, not good. You know, he's 5. I'm like, what wasn't good? What happened? And he sat there for a minute and he looked at me and he said, you never told me there was a P in my name. Because they had Joseph on everything and he'd only done Joey. Share your stories, remember him. That's how we honor him, by remembering the funniest. So you guys can all come up here if you want to share a story, but please, oh wait.
They can pass it around.
Okay, you can pass it around, but please also know if you can't talk out loud in groups, we don't think you loved him less, okay? So if you want to share, share, but you don't have to here. And we tried to get Joey to have friends with not a K name for a while, but there's not any Ralphs apparently around because we have Caden, Kagan, Krista, there's all these Ks. These are Joey's adventure buddies, the homies. They're gonna be mine now.
Joey was my best friend. There was never one day that we didn't hang out and not have the absolute most best time. I honestly don't know what to do now with my days. There's just a giant gap that will never be filled. I'm always gonna remember his stupid adventure bag full of stuff. And all the times we went doorbell ditching, and toilet papering, just all the fun stuff.
Well, I'm Joey's other best friend, and me and Joey would just some days take out our longboards and go for a little ride, or we just sit in his basement and watch movies with Michael Myers in it. We could quote every word to Cat in the Hat. But there was never a day that went by that Joey wasn't happy. And he brought joy to others. He certainly brought a lot of joy to me. It's going to be hard to move on without him. But we're all going to get through it. And I want to thank you guys for being here.
I'm also Joey's best friend. Joey is just always happy. He never cared what you did. He just liked hanging out and having fun.
I don't really know what to say, but Joey was also one of my best friends, and he was very adventurous. I went on many adventures with him, and there was this one adventure where he texted me and he said, "Kian, what do you think are the best fries in Tooele?" And I said, "It's definitely Arby's. Why?" And he said, "I have $50. Let's go to every place in Tooele and get all the fries we can, and let's see which one's the best." Well, I decided Arby's because I wasn't going to not decide Arby's. Arby's is the best. And he decided Carl's Jr. was pretty good. But we went on so many adventures, and there's a time that we went and bought cacti and named them. I have all the pictures. Yeah, I have all the pictures. He bought 3 of them and named them, and Sarah was with us, and I bought her one because she couldn't pay for one. But we named them, and yeah, thank you all for being here.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and I'm one of Joey's friends too. I just wanted to share how amazing Joey was. He was really, really happy all the time. He's really adventurous, and if you know me, I'm not an adventurer. So whenever he wanted to do something crazy, I would tell him not to. We negotiated one time to watch Cat in the Hat, and I could not sit through that. I just want you guys to remember how amazing he was. He was one of my favorite people I've ever met.
I didn't know Joey very well, but there was one time I was at Kagan's house, and
I walk into their family room and I see Joey hidden in a garbage bag. They left and they went doorbell bitching. They came back and all I hear is Kegan run inside and say, if the police come, tell them we weren't here the whole time. And anytime I saw him, we just glare at each other and just say each other's names, but he still has a special place in my heart even though I didn't know him very well. I didn't know Joey very well either, but he was my brother's best friend, and I remember him always coming over to the house, and I know I would always tease him, but deep down I always thought he was really nice and really sweet, and I'm gonna miss him.
Me and Joey weren't really best friends, but we've been friends since we were really little. And just one of my favorite memories of him was, I don't know if you guys remember like the Ouch bubble gum, and it came in like a metal container. They don't sell it anymore, but every time my mom went to the store, we'd beg her to get some, and then we eat all the gum and go in my backyard and catch daddy long legs and trap him in there. And I just always remembered him as that, and longboard buddies.
I was really good friends with Joey for about 3 years. And I loved playing football with him. I was really sad when he quit last year. I couldn't really hang out with him over the summer because I was really busy. And now that's all I wish I did. He was the only person that could ever make me smile, no matter how sad I was. Now he can't do that for me, and I always miss him for that. I have 2 favorite memories with Joey. They're in my top 10. I always remember Joey for his laughing and his partying. There was one time when we had a party and we went down by the causeway, and I didn't want to get in. I think around like only 3 out of 6 of us went in, 7. And he looked at me and he told me, "Don't be a wimp, just jump in."
One of my favorite memories with Joey was one night me and some other friends were hanging out with him, and we used to have wrestling matches. He'd always win, but I'd never admit to him winning. I always say I beat him because I put his shoulders down on the ground. But I remember we wrestled and we were looking on Pinterest, and I found this really cool Christmas light thing. He's like, "Dude, let's go buy Christmas lights." And I didn't have any money, and he went, and we were at the store, and they were like $50, and I was like, "Nah, bro, let's just wait." He's like, "I got you, $50 on Christmas lights."
One of my favorite moments that I had with Joey, I was good friends with him for about 3 years, and it was very sad to hear this news, but his memory will carry on. I remember one day I was in Walmart with my parents, and I see Joey with Kaden and Krista, and I was like, "What are you guys doing here? Like, who are you here with?" And they're like, "Oh, we just walked." So they walked all the way from Stansbury to Walmart, and they didn't have a ride back, so they had to walk back. And they bought a 12-pack of soda and some other stuff, so they had to walk all the way from Walmart all the way back home with all this stuff that Joey bought. I don't know, it's just pretty funny. One thing about Joey was his smile. He just always had a smile on his face, and if you look around, he was just friends with everyone. No one hated him. He's just a really good person, and I think we should all remember that about him.
From one mother to another. Joey would sit at our kitchen counter with Sarah
and 2 of her siblings. One of those was my son that has a hard time socially talking to people. And my other daughter, my youngest daughter, is so shy, so nervous. And Joey Joey would always be so thoughtful and kind to them. And he could see they were having a hard time being real comfortable and talkative. And he would just bring it out in them. And he would play with them. And he was always so very, very respectful and kind. A real gentleman. You did good, Dad.
I wasn't actually very good friends with Joey. I sat at lunch with him a few times last year, and after I went through a really rough breakup, he texted me and he was just like telling me all these sweet things, and it just made me feel so happy. He made me so happy just in that moment. Like, he knew I was sad and he just reached out to me. He was such a great guy. I'm gonna miss him. I'm Haley. I've known Joey since 1st grade, and I'm just gonna say it. He would tattletale on me all the time, so I hated him. But in 4th grade, I decided that he was so cool, and I was his friend. We became like best friends in 4th grade, and I just remember him always asking if I were okay. And coming into high school, I was so scared. And there's something about Joey that's just so comforting. When I saw him, I just knew I was gonna be okay, because I had known him since 1st grade. And he just felt like home. He was just the smile. And we weren't that close, but whenever I saw him, I just felt like I was gonna be okay.
So I'm Haley and Megan's mom and Lori. I knew Joey through elementary, about in classes, and I help out with reading. I'd read with him and kind of times tables, that kind of thing. And I always thought he was just super sweet and cute, and he'd look up at me and ask me questions about what I was reading, and the little dimples were just, they'd get you, and just want to spend a little more time with him because he's so sweet, and he was a good friend, and just one of those kids that went along with, you know, with Haley in school, all through school. She always had classes with him all through from 1st grade on, and I just know, I actually know TJ more. I just know that your boys are amazing, and I have really admired them ever since I've known them, and I've appreciated their presence in my girls' lives, and I feel like whatever my girls have been going through, they've been there, and if we can be there for you anyway, we will be, and our door's always open, and we're here to listen, and that's truth for anybody here. We'll miss Joey, but we're here for anybody else that needs us.
My name's Abby, and me and Michael and Joey we're all best friends. Like elementary school, and I remember we used to do everything together, and he would always want to go to Solberg's and buy stuff, and we would always play hide and go seek. And I remember one time he was chasing me and Michael throughout the whole house, and he fell and hit his head really hard, and it was funny. But Joey was really great.
I remember Joey used to make us play cards during elementary school, during recess, because he had his cool cards that said Chill Dog on them, that his aunt made them and a picture of him on it. And he was like, these are my cards, so we have to play with them. And I was like, dude, what if I want to bring my own cards? He's like, no, they're not good enough. I'm like, fine. So we would always play his cards during recess, and I remember me and Abby would always win against him, and he would get so mad. And he was like, you have to let me win, these are my cards. And I was like, Joey, that's not how it works. I also remember that when we played hide and seek, he always thought he was so funny. He'd make this bird noise, and it would make us laugh so hard, and we had to like say it back, because it was just like something you couldn't like not say back. And his bowl cut that he had for like all the way through freaking elementary to like 7th grade, and it was, oh my gosh, it was not very good looking on him. But he was like, no, like this is like my best style, like I have the best style, and would always wear basketball shorts and sweatshirts. I'm like, dude, when are you gonna wear pants? He's like, pants are for squares. I'm like, you're right, Joey, they are for squares. I met Joey last year through a friend, and there was this one time where we hung out, and we went to Kramer's, and it was just a really good adventure, because we would play with the saw and throw fries at each other. And I had food class with him last year, and we'd always joke around. Like, every time I'd see him, he'd look at me and he'd be like, ew, look, it's Zaria, and like just as a joke, and I'd always joke around with him. And we'd always like look at each other across the foods room and wave hi if we see each other. And it was great to always meet. It was great to meet him, because he always brought a smile on people's face, and he made people feel loved, and that's how I remember him.
Alright, so I'm Trinity, yes. I've known Joey for a really long time. I would like to share a memory in school when I was peer tutoring a young girl, and she had floriculture with Joey, I believe it was. And he was talking about his family and saying how much he loved them. And we were all talking about our siblings. And he pulls up the subject of sisters. And I'm like, oh, I have the best sister. He goes, oh no, my sister is the very best. And I'm like, okay, let's see. So he pulls up this picture of her on Instagram. He's like, she's a model, she's so successful, she's beautiful. I'm gonna be just like her, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, she's my idol. And I just remember him for that forever. So, yeah.
I've known Joey since the 7th grade. I had a couple classes with him in 8th grade, but the one I remember most is math. We had it with Miss Peterson, and it was the greatest time ever. What I remember the most is when she'd always promise us that she'd make waffles, and one day Joey just told me, I'm going to start calling you Waffles from now on, and that's what I'm going to say when I see you in the halls. So whenever he seen me in the halls, he'd always be like, hey Waffles, it's glad to see you walking around today. And I had French with him this year, and I remember walking into that class and knowing that it would be great just because he was in it. Okay, so my name's Avery, and I met Joey in the 7th grade. Well, we got really close in the 8th grade, and I went on a trip to Florida, and while I was there, I went to the Dr. Seuss land, and he told me that The Cat in the Hat was his favorite movie. So right when I got back, I went on eBay and I ordered it for him, and he always told me how we should watch it together, and he was so happy to have it. But just recently, he told me when he went camping, it got ruined, and I told him I would get him another one, but I never got to. But I'll always have the memory of The Cat in the Hat, and how we should have watched it, but I know that he loved that movie, and that will always have that memory of me giving that to him. Okay, I'm really shy, so I suck at giving speeches, but I always remember Joey when we had our fires at my house and like parties. We call it the OG crew because it was me, Taven, Caitlin, Louise, Dallas, Kegan, all of them. And I remember one time they showed up and they had something in their like hands, and I was like, "What do you guys have?" And they were like, "Nothing, nothing." And then all of a sudden brought out a lighter, and they had a firecracker, and they lit a firecracker in my backyard. And it was really scary because I didn't want to get in trouble. Sorry. And then yeah, Joey just was always a party of and he always was a conversation starter and always made everyone laugh. I'm really gonna miss you. So I didn't know Joey super well, but sorry, I remember a few weeks ago to the drive-in with Kian and Sarah and Tiva, and Joey was there too, and I just remember his empty backpack, and I was super jealous of it, and yeah.
If you want to speak,
If you want to speak, if you'll come up closer, the microphone won't backfire so much. So I know it's uncomfortable to move around. We want to hear from everybody. But if you come up a little bit closer, we'll be able to hear what you have to say. Since I have the mic, I'll just take a second. I'm Dallas's mom. So Joey was his little right-hand man. And I think we have 4 kids under Dallas, and I think sometimes they liked having Joey as the big brother more than Dallas. So Joey helped Dallas be softer and sweeter, and that's who Joey was. And I'll always have pictures of Joey in my head in tank tops. I don't ever think he wore anything else other than tank tops. We loved Joey at our house. He's going to be really missed. And just as a mom of 5 kids, I just can't say enough that we've had this happen too much in our community. And people, adults and other kids love you. And if you're sad, just like Joey's parents said, if you're sad, if you have thoughts of anything, reach out to somebody. Look at all of the kids here. Turn around and look at all those lights are behind you, and those all represent people who love and care and want to see you be successful and be the grown-ups that you're meant to be. So be that for each other, and be that for your families, because we need you and we want you to be successful and feel the love that we all have for you.
So I had Joey in my first period class both days this year, and there was never a dull day in those classes. Those were always my favorite classes. They just set the rest of the day for me, because he would always, you just would hear his voice and he would just sound so happy, and it would just brighten up your day, and there was never a dull moment when Joey was around. I wasn't super close with him, but I would see him in the hall and he would just always have a smile on his face. And I'll never forget Joey for the smile and the laugh that he had and the memories that he gave everyone.
I didn't know Joey very well, but I do know one thing. It didn't matter if you were a stranger or a close friend. If you were having a hard day, he would come talk to you. He would make you feel better. He had a contagious smile.
Like my favorite of ours, but I realized that there's a lot. But the first time that I met Joey, my sisters and I were playing inside our garage because our parents were paranoid and they were like, don't open the door for anyone, like you can't go outside yet because we're leaving, but you guys can play inside the garage. So we're in there and we hear a knock on the side door of our garage, and it's Joey and TJ, and they had made us cookies, and they're like, hey, we're your neighbors. Why don't you open the door? And we were just like, we can't. And so like we're just talking back and forth through the door. And I remember we were just like, okay, well, we really want the cookies, so why don't you guys just leave? And then we'll open the door and then we'll eat them when we can, you know? So they left and we got the cookies and we ran back into our house and we looked out the window to see them. And we just thought, oh man, like they're gonna be our best friends. And we hung out every single day that summer and played hide and go seek tag. And one more memory, that's my favorite. For basketball, we'd have to sell cookie dough. And I remember I'd always like hit the neighbors first, you know? And I go over there and Joey answers the door. And I'm like, we're selling cookie dough this year. Why don't you go grab your parents so you guys can get some if you want some. And he goes, oh, I don't need to get my parents. Like, I'm getting it for myself. And so he goes and he gets his money. And this kid always had money, man. Like, he was just something else. But I remember he bought 2 things for himself. And that was just crazy to me. But yeah, he was just the sweetest kid. And we had some really awesome talks and great memories. So, yeah.
I've only had Joey in 2 of my classes. And boy, I wish I knew him sooner. Because as soon as I saw him in math, I knew that this kid needs to be the kindest, most special kid I've ever knew. And I'm listening to the stories that I was right. I wish I could have been closer to Joey. I never even talked to him until I had my 2nd class with him. No, I wish I had.
I'm Joey's aunt, and he came from an amazing family full of love, and that's why he was so full of love. And I'm going to ask all of you to do 2 things for Joey. If you have any heaviness inside you, you do exactly what his parents have asked. You reach out and you let it out. And every single one of us have the greatness in us that Joey had, of showing love and joy. Just take that love and joy that he had and pay it forward. You have it in you, and honor him that way.
So, I have a lot of good memories with Joey, but one of my favorite ones was when me and Caitlin and Caden and him were riding our longboards, and he hit a bump on the sidewalk and flew off and scraped his side really bad, and it was really funny. And another one is like me and Olivia and him and Caden would go hammocking, and he always loved to play like his music, but like I tried to play my music, and every time I turned on one of my songs, he'd give me crap for it because I didn't have good taste in music. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'm Deanna's sister, also Joey's neighbor, and friends with Joey. I sat at lunch with him a few times last year, and after I went through a really rough breakup, he texted me and he was just like telling me all these sweet things, and it just made me feel so happy. He made me so happy just in that moment. He knew I was sad, and he just reached out to me. He was such a grand guy. I'm gonna miss him. I'm Haley. I've known Joey since first grade, and I'm just gonna say it. He would tattletale on me all the time, so I hated him. But in fourth grade, I decided that he was so cool, and I was his friend. We became like best friends in fourth grade, and I just remember him always asking if I were okay. And coming into high school, I was so scared. And there's something about Joey that's just so comforting. And when I saw him, I just knew I was gonna be okay. Because I had known him since first grade. And he just felt like home. He was just his smile. And we weren't that close. But whenever I saw him, I just felt like I was gonna be okay.
So I'm Haley, I'm Maddie's mom, and Lori. I knew Joey through elementary, help out in classes, and like help out with reading. I'd read with him and with times tables, that kind of thing. And I always thought he was just super sweet and cute, and he'd look up at me and ask me questions about what he was reading, and the little dimples were just, they'd get you, and just want to spend a little more time with him because he's so sweet, and he was a good friend, and just one of those kids that went along with, you know, with Haley in school, all through school. She always had classes with him all through from first grade on. And I just know, I actually know TJ more. I just know that your boys are amazing, and I have really admired them ever since I've known them, and I've appreciated their presence in my girls' lives, and I feel like whatever my girls have been going through, they've been there, and if we can be there for you in any way, we will be, and our door's always open, and we are here to listen, and that's true for anybody here. And we'll miss Joey, but we're here for anybody else that needs us.
My name's Abby, and me and Michael and Joey were all best friends. Like,
elementary school, and I remember we used to do everything together, and he would always want to go to Solberg's and buy stuff, and we would always play hide and go seek. And I remember one time he was chasing me and Michael throughout the whole house, and he fell and hit his head really hard, and it was funny. But Joey was really great.
I remember Joey used to make us play cards during elementary school, during recess, because he had his cool cards that said Chill Dog on them, that his aunt made him, and a picture of him on it. And he was like, these are my cards, so we have to play with them. And I was like, dude, what if I want to bring my own cards? He's like, no, they're not good enough. I'm like, fine. So we would always play his cards during recess, and I remember me and Abby would always win against him, and he would get so mad. And he was like, you have to let me win, these are my cards. And I was like, Joey, that's not how it works. I also remember that when we played hide and seek, he always thought he was so funny, and he'd make this bird noise, and it would make us laugh so hard, and we had to like say it back, because it was just like something you couldn't like not say back. And his bowl cut that he had for like all the way through freaking elementary to like 7th grade, and it was, oh my gosh, it was not very good looking on him. But he was like, no, like this is like my best style, like I have the best style, and would always wear basketball shorts and sweatshirts. And I'm like, dude, when are you gonna wear pants? And he's like, pants are for squares. I'm like, you're right, Joey, they are for squares. I met Joey last year through a friend, and there was this one time when we hung out, and we went to Cravers, and it was just a really good adventure. We would play with the saw and throw fries at each other, and I had to go to class with him last year, and we'd always joke around. Like, every time I'd see him, he'd look at me and he'd be like, ew, look, it's Zarya, and like just as a joke, and I'd always joke around with him. We'd always like look at each other across the foods room, like wave hi if we see each other. And it was great to always meet. It was great to meet him because he always brought a smile on people's face, and he made people feel loved, and that's how I remember him.
Alright, so I'm Trinity, guys. I've known Joey for a really long time. I would like to share a memory in school when I was peer tutoring a young girl, and she had floriculture with Joey, I believe it was. And he was talking about his family and saying how much he loved them. And we were all talking about our siblings. And he pulls up the subject of sisters. And I'm like, oh, I have the best sister. He goes, oh no, my sister is the very best. And I'm like, okay, let's see. So he pulls up this picture of her on Instagram. He's like, she's a model, she's so successful, she's beautiful. I'm gonna be just like her, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, she's my idol. And I just remember him for that forever. So, yeah.
I've known Joey since the 7th grade. I had a couple classes with him in 8th grade.
Really emphasizes the kind of kid that he was, and he was not your average teenager. Because I don't know a teenager that can just make so many other people feel happy. And a couple years ago, I lived out in California, and Joey came to visit me over spring break. And we were at the beach one day, just playing in the ocean and doing things, and there were these teenagers that were probably a little bit older than him. They were next to us, and they were not very discreetly trying to talk about if me and Joey were boyfriend and girlfriend, or what was going on, and we could hear everything that they were saying, and I was like, oh gosh, Joey's gonna get so embarrassed, he's gonna move away from me, he's gonna be like, they think we're boyfriend and girlfriend. I just remember that we were talking about it, and I said, they think we're boyfriend and girlfriend, and he said, Carly, that's okay if they think that you're my girlfriend, because you're so pretty. And he didn't move away, and he didn't do, anything that I thought he would. And that's the kind of person that he was. He would make me feel bad or feel weird, and he told me I was pretty, and we just kept playing. And there's so many examples of the different kind of kid that he was, and I think all of us really experienced that he, was just so good at somehow finding any way to make you feel a little bit better or a little bit prettier or anything that he could do. So I've just been trying to think of so many, there's so many memories of him, and that one just kind of really makes me laugh because it shows the kind of person that he was.
I'm Katie. So I've known Joey since 7th grade, and we had so many classes together. I had English with him with Mr. Kerr, and I had it with him and Taven. I remember we'd always sit in that our little corner, and Joey and I were arguing about I don't even know what we were arguing about one day, but we weren't allowed to talk, so we would write notes to each other in all caps, and we'd write, yell at each other. I don't even know. And I just remember it was one of my favorite memories, and he was just always so loving, and he would text me and he would just want to know every little detail. He'd be like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite thing to do? And he was just the most Christ-like person I've ever met. He always had that smile on his face. I have a medical class with him, and every day I'd walk in and I'd see that famous Joey smile with his dimples, and he would just be sitting there and be like, hey, Katie, and it'd just make my day so much better. And he will be missed, but heaven gained another angel on Sunday, so...
I'm Joey's best friend. I talked earlier, but I didn't really tell a story of him. So, the story of me, Joey, and Kegan were at the rope swing one day, and he had those dissolvable gum, and he tried eating the whole pack as fast as he could, and his mouth ended up burning really bad. And so what his plan was we were gonna go to Solberg's, buy each, me, Kegan, and himself, the same pack, and then we each got soda also. Made the pack of gum as fast as we could, which took forever because it was a lot of gum. But our mouths hurt so bad. And Joey's like, okay, I'm done, so I'm gonna drink some soda. And the soda just made it worse. And so I'll drink the soda after also, just to make it worse.
So, same deal, I just wanted to share a story about Joey. The first time I ever hung out with Joey, the one that would lead to a really great friendship. I was just hanging out one day and I'm like, hey, I got his number. Why not give him a call? Maybe we can become friends and stuff. And so we met up down at the skate park and got the great idea to go to Solberg's and get some gallons of milk. And we put some food coloring in them, and we tried to see who could drink theirs the fastest without throwing up. And he threw up everywhere, all over the skate park. And later we just went home to Kegan's, and we were all freezing from drinking half a gallon of milk.
Generator went out.
We lost the gas.
Speak up.
Yell Dallas.
Well, after that we went and froze at Kegan's house. And the next day we went and cleaned up everything that we left down at the skate park. All the trash and everything. A little food coloring. So it was great and led to a really great friendship. Yeah. I'll never forget Joey.
Now if you have a thought, you have to come up here. It's a little scarier, but we lost our mic.
I just wanted to say I'm Crystal Kegan's mom. Joey was a regular figure in our house, and it will be very different without him, but I wanted to tell something funny because that's what Joey would have wanted. And back to their milk gallon challenge. They did this at my house one night, and so you're supposed to drink the whole gallon of milk and hold it down. Of course, nobody holds it down, and so they puked rainbow milk all over my backyard because it was all different colored food coloring, and Joey had a really good time convincing me that it was okay because the milk hadn't been down long enough to actually be puke, and so it was totally fine. And, yeah, Joey will be missed a lot. He did a lot of things with our family, and it'll be really different without him.
So I didn't know Joey personally, but I work at Solberg's, and every time he would come in, he would just have a smile on his face, and whether it be with his family or with his friends, and it just made me want to smile because his smile was so big, and I think it's amazing how many friends he had and how many people care about him, and I just think it's really cool.
I moved here last year. It was my first year at Stansbury. I remember walking into the school and being so scared. I didn't know anyone. I went my first 2 periods all by myself. And I got to 3rd period and I see this boy sitting there with the cutest smile and the best dimples. And he was the first person to talk to me the whole day. The whole year, I just knew it was going to be the best because he was in that class, and you can see all of the lives that he had impacted and how great of a personality he had, how much he cared for everyone. It's a really hard loss, and I hadn't known him very long.
No one hated him. He's just a really good person, and I think we should all remember that about him.
From one mother to another. Joey would sit at our kitchen counter with Sarah and 2 of her siblings. One of those is my son that has a hard time socially talking to people. And my other daughter, the youngest daughter, is so shy, so nervous. And Joey Joey would always be so thoughtful and kind to them. And he could see they were having a hard time being real comfortable and talkative. And he would just bring it out in them. And he would play with them. And he was always so very, very respectful and kind. A real gentleman. You did good, Dad.
But I didn't have an opportunity to share a story about Joey, and just wanted to share something. I hope you guys can hear me. One of my favorite memories with Joey is he invited me to go to a Bees game, and I'm not really a baseball fan, but I wanted to go and be with him and stuff. And I remember us going, and we got in the elevator, and there was a ton of people in there, and we were really squished. And I just remember being really quiet and really awkward. And I looked at Joey, and he looked at me, and then all of a sudden he like flinched. And then he looked over at this guy next to him, and he like was quiet for a second, and then he said, "Are you touching my butt?" And the guy was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he backed up a little bit. And he was like, Joey was like, "It's okay, I mean, if I would have felt some fingers, I would have been a little concerned. It's okay. And you made that really awkward for me. It was okay, but I mean, he was really funny and he was really adventurous, and I just remember trying to be adventurous once and I ended up running into a barbed wire fence. So I'm pretty glad that I had someone like him in my life.
Okay, so Joey would actually be really mad because if you guys don't know.
And like right when it started, they just couldn't stop laughing. And I don't even remember why. Maybe we saw a cringy scene or something funny. But Joey and Kaden could not be quiet.
It's because the people next to us were mad that we were talking so much, so we just started laughing.
And the lady said, turned around, she looks at us and she said, "Could you guys be quiet?" And me, Joey, and Kaden look at each other with our mouths trying to be closed. And you just hear the starting of Joey's laugh. And they both cracked and they had to leave the theater. And when they came in, they sat down and I look at them again and they left again. And then they came back in and Joey could barely handle himself. And we just finished that movie. We came out saying, "Man, did that suck, but boy, was that funny."
About the 3rd grade, and one of my favorite memories is every time we hang out, we'd always go to this pine tree. Some of you probably know what it is, and every time we get there, he'd always say, "Race you to the top," and he'd always beat me every time, and he'd always give me crap from the top of the pine tree for being so slow. And I remember one time he beat me to the top and he took his hammocks out of his backpack and started throwing them at me while I was trying to climb up. And I remember late night swimming with him with that group where only some of us got in, and it was so much fun. And walking to Cravers super late and gonna miss his smile and gonna miss him.
My name is Patrick. I'm Dallas's dad. I knew Joey just a little bit, just in passing. I was either coming in and out of the house or out of the garage. And there's only one thing I can honestly say about him that I knew for a fact is he had a comeback to every single smart-ass remark I ever told him. Every single time. I couldn't get the kid, not once. Not once did I walk away from him feeling like I got him. Not once. He just shut me down. I'm gonna miss him. A whole bunch.
His body today from the medical examiner, so he's at the mortuary. We get to go there in the morning. We're planning on having the viewing Thursday night at the church behind the high school. We'll start it at 6:30, and then we're gonna have his funeral. What time is it? Sorry, on Friday at 11 at the same church behind the high school. I talked to your attendance lady, Sandy, today. She will excuse you all. We want you to come be there. Principal Ward doesn't know this yet, so if someone's going to get in trouble, I'll take the heat. But I get a pass this week.
Come as you are.
We want you to come. You guys don't know, we're allergic. Trace and Joey are allergic to dress clothes. It causes a rash, heat, sweating. It's really bad. So they try to not dress up too much. They look pretty good when they do. Come in your shorts. Come in your tank tops. Wear orange. We just want you to be comfortable. We have to do a wicked, brutal thing. We don't want anyone in tight, uncomfortable clothes.
Really quick, guys. Sorry to interrupt. Do not leave yet. I know we're closing up and stuff. There's another train coming, so don't leave until the train passes. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm done. We want you to come. We want you to be there. We want you to love him and honor him. And you're welcome.
Come comfortable. Come in your tank top.
I'm wearing my cowboy boots, so come as you are.
Joey was a master. He was our chill dog. I'm proud I named him. It started out as Chili Dog when he was younger. It morphed into Chill Dog.
If you guys saw him on the first day of school, you would know we should be casual. He had new clothes and shoes at home. He wore pants that he ripped down the side and safety pin, and the rattiest Vans. We got in a fight the week before. I said, Joey, people are going to think you're homeless. You can't go to school like that. He's like, I want to. These are my clothes. His socks probably had holes in them. I don't know. I didn't even check them. He was comfortable in his own skin, and he was who he was. And I invite all of you to be that in your lives. Find a place to be comfortable and come to his last services to honor him in whatever you feel comfortable.
Once again, you guys, you may personally, as a person, you may think that you're small in the world to someone, or you don't matter that much. It's time that I think that we rethink our thinking, and we really don't know who we are for someone. Joey probably had no clue who he was for you guys, and if he would have known that, I would think he would have been here tonight. So be that someone for everybody, because you don't know who you are for. We'll never have a clue. Love one another. Be kind to one another. And have fun. Once again, the police bringing me. Just make sure the train passes before we leave. We can't get bound up on the tracks or have people go through. I don't. Did Jay say, or does he know like how long it's on its way? You know,
There's some water over there.
I'm sure people. One other thing. Thank you to everybody who put this on. We really appreciate it. In honor of Joey loved the outdoors. Let's make sure that we take our garbage and leave this place better. And Carly needs to say something. Bishop Price, who's here supporting us, would like to.
We're nominating you to say a prayer.
Oh, I guess we're you know.
You should probably know him. So if I offend you at the funeral, call him. He's really good with complaints. I might swear in the chapel. It could happen.
I spent a lot of time with,
You want a prayer? We love one.
Okay.
So,
if you'll take your hats off, please. Thank you. Our Father in heaven, we are truly grateful at this time to have known Joey, to have been a part of his life, and him to be a part of our lives. Father, please bless us that we may be comforted, that we may take the memories that we have of Joey, the happy memories, and maybe write them down so that we may remember them always. We're grateful for thy love. Father, we ask thee that thou would comfort the Thomsens. Please bless them that they may fill of thy love, that they may be comforted and sustained in this trying time. Father, we're grateful for our Savior, Jesus Christ, for his atoning sacrifice, for the opportunity that we are able to see our loved ones again. We're grateful for that knowledge. Please help us to reach out to those that are around us that are suffering and hurt. Please help us to know the things that we need to say and do to buoy each other up. Father, please be with us now as we return to our homes. that we may be able to get there in safety, that all will be well. Father, these things we pray for humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Could I say one more thing before you guys leave? Sorry, if I could. Joey, he's not a friend. He was like a brother. He loved everybody, and his smile it was contagious. It was like the ocean on the sand. Joey, don't frown. Joey wouldn't want you to frown. He wants you to smile. Joey, he's up there. He's in all of us. He's in our heart. Just know that Joey loves us. And the way that we can put on his legacy is to smile. Thank you.